Yo, 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 is DJ Crypto. I am back after a couple months away doing almost back to back videos. Uh, this one, obviously, it may feel like it's a little bit of clickbait, but it is. So, right off the get go, just so you know, I do not believe we will get 100% back, but we could get back close to it and a lot closer to it than what most people think. And that's what I want to break down tonight is how is it possible to get more recovery? At the moment, we are currently seeing people get a 35% of their claim value. If your claim value is $1,000, currently you can get $350 depending on your breakout of what assets that you own. Let's just pretend for a moment that straight across the board, it is USDC. If you have $1,000 claim of USDC, at the moment, your first payout is going to be about 35%, $350 USDC. Now, some people who started withdrawing last Friday are going to see some of those transfers start trickling in. I was fortunate to get out early and got it over to Coinbase over the night and under 12 hours received my full transfer. For some reason, it left $28 behind. I don't know why, but I can't send it out anymore. So I guess they'll just check me out of that one. A lot of people who started later in the evening or even the following days are still not seeing their transfers be done. But the transfer is not the problem. The claim amount and the initial distribution is what we're talking about here. And the initial distribution is about 35%. So again, if your claim value in the app says $1,000, and we're just talking strictly USDC at the moment, then your initial distribution is $350, approximately 35%. Now, we have known for a long time, pre-FTX blow up, that we were hoping to get anywhere from 65 to 75% back of our claim value. Where did that come from? All of the assets that Voyager held, approximately 1.1 to 1.2 billion. I forget all the exact numbers, so that's why I'm saying up to, and you all can figure out what the exact numbers will be. In fact, find it, check it all out. I ain't got time for that. I just got home from work not even 20 minutes ago. So I'm tired, but I wanted to get this out here for you to consider and think about as we look forward. The initial distributions rolling in, future distributions yet to come. Okay, so 35%, we can all pretty much count on that. Now we have $445 million caught up in some legal garbage between Voyager and FTX. Voyager lent the money out, or vice versa. Yeah, Voyager lent the money to FTX, recalled it, and FTX said, hey, hold up, that's our money. That's our money. Well, no, it was actually borrowed money, but it was our money. So we recalled it from them, and they want it back for their claims. Now, that's approximately 450 million. I think it's 445. And there's two ways of thinking about this. One, it is not all or nothing. It is not, oh, they're going to get 445 and we get zero, or we get all 445 and they get zero. That's not how it works. So the initial hope is that we get the 445, which we had intended before we heard that they were like suing us for it or whatever, fighting over it. Before we heard that, we were expecting to have that. That's when you saw those numbers of like 65, 70%, 75%. Values go up a little bit. We're just going to call that 40% of the total value. If we have 1.1 billion total assets and we got 445 million caught up in FTX, I'm just calling that for numbers rounding sake 40%. So if you look at that thumbnail that got you here, perhaps there's a 35%, there's a 40%, and then there's another piece of the pie. But this is not news. This is things that we have been planning on all along. And then FTX comes along, screws it up so we don't get it up front. We have to wait until the fall before they fight over it in court. And who knows how long that is going to take. Probably not soon, right? So 35% is what we got now. About 40%, rough estimate, comes from the $445 million fighting over it with FTX. Now, that could be less. The kicker would be FTX has claims against them and then assets on hand. It equates to about 75%. So it's like 9 billion claims, 7 billion assets on hand. They have about 75%. If we do not win the legal battle where we get to have $445 million that were our money that got lent out, if we don't win that, that money goes to FTX, and now Voyager becomes a creditor. Now Voyager becomes, like everybody else, someone trying to get up to 75% of 445 million. Does that make sense? I don't know. So what is 75% of 445 million? I'm just going to say 350 million. I don't know. You can do the math quicker than I can. I'm not going to pull out my calculator. So we're going to call that between 30 to 35% recovery if we become a creditor with FTX. When that gets, this is again, second worst case scenario. If we don't get 445 initial distribution because we win against FTX, that's where the 40% comes in. We lose that, it goes to FTX, they hold our money. Now we become a creditor. Now we're going to get approximately 75% because that's their assets on hand versus the claims against them. Now we're going to get 30 to 35%. Okay, so that's second. That's going to get us about 65 to 70% total recovery. If you've already gotten 35%, you're going to get like another 35% whenever this FTX deal happens. It's an average. So again, if you have a $1,000 claim, you get $350 now, you'll get $350 in the fall. That's second. If we get up to 40% because we win the battle with FTX and we get our 445 million, that's what I'm calling 40% on the pie chart, then we're going to have 75% distribution from our claim. That's a big win. So where does the other possible 25% come from? It is from, and I don't have all these graphics to throw up. I don't have all this stuff prepared. I have been gone since early morning. I'm just getting home and we're going live, so I don't have to edit some stupid video. Okay. So we're talking about it live. Where does this other 25% come from? It comes from Three Arrows Capital. Now, same thing is going on. Claims against Three Arrows Capital for the time being is approximately $3.3 billion. I got some food in my beard. All right. $3.3 billion from Three Arrows Capital, aka 3AC. Now, we just saw a report today, yesterday, 2 days ago. I don't know when, but the report just came out that the lawsuit is for found assets essentially of $1.3 billion. Voyager, whoever it is, Voyager is leading on the UCC, the crappy one like we have for Voyager. Okay, Voyager itself is on the Three Arrows Capital UCC Creditors Committee, finding all this stuff, hopefully doing a better job than the Voyager UCC, which sucked. But as they're finding these assets, rumor has it $1.3 billion. So you take 1.3 divided by 3.3, and it's close enough to 40%. Now, how much money are we missing that went to Three Arrows Capital? $650 million. I don't know if I'm saying million and billion, but that was a million. $650 million were lent out to Three Arrows Capital. So many people were saying, oh, we're never going to see that. Even I was like, don't plan on seeing it. We have no idea. Well, they have apparently found $1.3 billion of assets. We're going after it. What is 1.3 divided by 3.3? 40%. So if it's 650 million, somebody, Neville, you're here, you're quick with the math. Somebody find me 40% of $650 million. That is going to be assets claimed against Three Arrows Capital, 3.3 billion total, of which 650 is from Voyager. 1.3 billion or 40% was found. So what is going to be our amount that we can expect at 40%? What is 40% of $650 million? I'm just going to call it $250 million. 50% is 325, 40%. I'm just going to call it. I ain't got time to wait for Neville, his slow computer or calculator. We're going to call it $250 million. Okay. So just a moment ago, we were talking about how $445 million from FTX battle is approximately 40% of our total distribution claim value recovery. Where does that come from? $1.1 billion total Voyager assets, 445 million with FTX battle. We're just calling it 40%. If $445 million is 40% claim value, then what is $250 million? Approximately 25%. It's a little bit less. We'll just call it 20%, but I like calling it 25% because it allows me to do a really cool pie chart that makes 100% possible. But this is where it comes in. 260 million. Thank you, Neville, for being slow, but you still came through. Clutch. Good friend. So 260 million could potentially come from Three Arrows Capital based on what just came out a day or two ago of $1.3 billion being found with them. So we've got 35% initial distribution. That's up here on the pie chart. Then we got 445 million. That's approximately 40% of your claim value. And then we've got 25%, not quite, but we're having fun, from the $260 million, which is approximately 40% of what we are owed from Three Arrows Capital that they can go find. Those three things are real things going on right now. There is a real possibility in time to get up to 100%. Now, had we sold Voyager to a Binance, FTX, or some other credible source that would have garnished an extra $100 million, now you see that 10% buffer would have gotten us the 100% claim value recovery should these things play out. If we win the battle with FTX, if we get the 40% that we are owed from Three Arrows Capital, if those things play out, we would have gotten 100%. So in essence, to some degree, was it worth going after? I mean, by the percentages, yes. I mean, I'm not having fun with it. I've lost crazy amounts of money. I get it. But that's the difference. If you would have liquidated early on, like everybody's saying now, let's just liquidate because we don't know what's coming and there's been so much uncertainty. I get it. And I'm not really opposed to it, although I was for a long time, because you would have seen about a 50 to 55% recovery when we have the potential for 90+%. Now, those in like USDC assets and stuff like that where it just sits, okay, maybe they come out fine. But those who got like Bitcoin and it's set there, you didn't sell the bottom. Now it's at 30,000 when you're making that transfer. You made some money. You made about 50% on your Bitcoin in some recovery. But at the end of the day, how do we get up to 100%? I don't believe we're going to get to 100%. We're going to have 35% initial recovery. We're going to have up to 40%, maybe between 30 to 40, up to 40% if we win the battle with FTX, especially if it's a short battle. Legal fees are killing us. Then we've got Three Arrows Capital we're trying to get 250 million out of. But guess what? The stupid UCC of Voyager took $75 million and set it aside for a witch hunt that can't pay diddly squat. They're going to go after who knows who for who knows what, but it ain't enough. You can't go after enough people to recover the funds that you removed and took out. There's 75 million that they took out because they're scum. They're dumb and they're scum and they suck. But anyways, that's how we get up to 100%. I don't think we're going to get there, but it's a lot better potential than what people think. Let me know what you think in the comments. I probably won't read it because most of you are crazy anyway, but some of the good ones, maybe I will read it. I'll see you on Twitter. I'll see you next time. Love you. Bye.